Hey, what's going on guys, Chris here once again, giving you a complete guide to one of those guns in Battlefield Hardline. Today I'm going to be focusing on the M39 EMR, or Enhanced Marksman Rifle, which is a modernised, lighter and slightly more accurate version of the M14 rifle used by the US military. The M39 EMR replaced the US Marine Corps DMR, and it looks quite a lot like the MK14 in appearance. Typically used by designated marksmen, so provide precise fire at range, and if you remember the weapon back from other Battlefield games, you might be thinking, wait a minute, this gun seems a little bit different. Well, for starters, in Hardline you can fire in a fully automatic mode, unlike Battlefields 3 and 4, where it fired in semi-auto modes. So instead of being categorised as a DMR or recon weapon, it's now pushed itself into the Enforcer kit, and is now classified as a battle rifle. Released alongside Getaway, the M39 is available for both Cops and the Crooks, but it's going to make a bit of a dent in your in-game wallet as it costs $80,000 to purchase, so quite a lot. You're probably thinking, what's good about the gun? Well, in typical battle rifle fashion, the M39 boasts a high amount of damage at all ranges. If we pop that graph up there just for a couple of seconds, here we can see that the M39 deals a maximum damage rate of 43 up to 20 meters. This then declines over distance down to 25 from the range of 50 meters or further, where that damage drop off ends. And if you've got a good memory and seen almost any of my other battle rifle guides, you might notice that this is practically the same damage graph as almost all of the other Enforcer rifles. This means that you'll be able to take out your enemies in less bullets than your normal assault rifles and SMGs. And you should be able to drop a target with 100% health in just 3 bullets up to 36 meters. Though beyond this, it's going to take 4 bullets to put them down. As far as most of the M39's other factors go though, it seems like a pretty average weapon in comparison to the other battle rifles, as it doesn't particularly do anything wonderful to really justify it being a superior weapon to pick over the others. As for the gun's fire rate, it can fling those bullets out in full auto at a speed of 625 RPM. This is sort of middle ground for the BRs, as it's quicker than a few of the others like the HK, HK51 and SG510, though it's still not quite as rapid as the SA58 or the FN FAL. Its recoil also fares to be a little bit average too, unless you're comparing it to the SMGs and assault rifles, as this would make it seem terrible. With a vertical kick of 0.9, a leftwards kick of 0.35, and a rightwards kick of 0.28, the M39 isn't exactly a very easy gun to use, but it's still more controllable than the likes of the FAL. It's pretty obvious that this weapon is mainly going to jolt upwards as you fire, with that vertical value being higher, though it might seem to kick slightly more to the left, more so than the right as you hold that trigger down. So at the moment, the M39 seems like your average battle rifle, though it does have a couple of negative factors that are weaker than the other Enforcer weapons. One of the main problems with the gun is its muzzle velocity. Those bullets are only going to fly through the air at 550 meters per second, which is kinda slow. Most of the other battle rifles have a muzzle velocity of around about 700, apart from the SA58 that just dominates them all in this field, with its flashy 840 meters per second velocity. It's still quicker than the M110, but that's got a bit of an excuse with that permanent suppressor being stuck on the end of its barrel. With a lower muzzle velocity, it might be harder to track targets at longer ranges, and you're gonna have to take bullet travel time into account when you engage in a firefight. Another thing that doesn't exactly do the M39 any justice is the duration it takes to swap those magazines. To reload, it's gonna take 2.4 seconds of your valuable killing time, if you choose to change magazines with bullets left over, so that's fairly lengthy. Though with an empty mag, that's gonna take you 3.45 seconds, which is one of the longest of all the battle rifles. This means that you're gonna have to be a tad more aware of enemy sightlines and judge when and where you reload, a bit more than usual. Attachments wise, with the M39 EMR having a heavy amount of vertical kick, the compensator might be a favourable option for a lot of you guys. This is going to lower that upwards jolting from 0.9 down to 5.4, making it a bit more stable, though the gun will lose some accuracy in the process, with the compensator increasing the gun's horizontal movement slightly. For those of you that want to trade a bit of stability for accuracy, could opt for the muzzle brake instead, as this will mainly lower those horizontal values, but help out a tiny bit with the upwards kick too. It's a tough weapon to control, and it's probably more effective at burst firing than in full auto, so having an increase to accuracy is going to help a lot, especially with the weapon firing at a slowish rate. Now when choosing a grip, a good choice would be the angled foregrip, because the M39 is a better gun to use when tap and burst firing. This means you're going to find that first shot multiplier decrease very beneficial indeed. You only need a few bullets to actually hit your target, and so if the first one is on target, the angled foregrip will set you up for your next a bit easier. Its first shot recoil is slightly higher than most of the other BRs in the game, with a multiplier of 1.3 as opposed to 1.1. So this gives more of a reason to apply the angled foregrip instead of the others. So all in all, the M39 EMR is a fairly standard battle rifle. It packs a punch, but so do the others. It doesn't really do anything to outshine the other Enforcer guns, though it does stay relatively consistent and in the middle with most of its main factors. Its rate of fire isn't exactly the quickest, but it's not the slowest either. Its recoil is not terrible compared to the others, but at the same time it's not the best. You could say that the M39 is a decent all-rounder, but still kinda lets us down a bit with its lower muzzle velocity and slower reload times. But as far as battle rifles go though, the M39 EMR sorta sits in the middle. It doesn't really want to over-impress, but it's no slob either. So that's all I've got for you in this one guys, but do be sure to stick around and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest content on Battlefield and loads of other games too. Give me a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you in that next one.